Hey, it's Mike Brennan, and we're back with another segment on MITechTV. Once again, we have Melih Oztalay from SmartFinds Marketing in Birmingham joining us to give us some tips on how to market better. And in this case, we're looking at, well, it's been around a long time. It's called a press release, but there's a lot of new wrinkles to this press release. So this is going to be called Press Release Marketing for the Digital Noise and AI Era. AI being artificial intelligence, which seems to be everywhere these days. So the term press release often feels outdated, but it's more relevant than ever. In a noisy online environment, trust and authority are scarce, so a well crafted press release builds both. Let's talk about that, Bailey.
Hey guys, great to be back on the show. Good to see you, Matt. Good to see you, Mike.
You bet.
Yeah, let's talk about, we'll talk about AI, as you know I always do, but I think what we need to also do is take a look at how companies can get above the noise. Since the pandemic, everybody's gone in-house. Since the pandemic, there's more stuff on the web. It doesn't make a difference what it is. I'm not talking about competition. I'm just talking about general noise. And when it comes to B2B companies, how do you get above that noise? And what I mean by that also is how do you get above that noise without spending an arm and a leg? What tools do we have available to us? And the one tool that a lot of people don't pay attention to is press releases. Um, Press release distributions, press release syndication. There's a lot of choices out there from free to roughly, somewhere in the above the $1,000 mark in terms of how you might be able to do a press release. But the value is mind-boggling in terms of the results. As you can imagine, you get what you pay for. So let's try to get closer to the $1,000 mark to send out a press release. And I think there's a huge difference between the free version, or let's say the low cost version, and when you start going towards the $1,000 mark. And we at SmartFinds came up with an entirely new process, which we implemented last fall, a year ago actually, last fall. And we've been working through using that process for the last year. We have some great case studies that are phenomenal in terms of the results, but we're calling it SmartPress. It is specifically designed for B2B companies, and it's about getting them seen, getting them published, and more importantly, getting them trusted.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your SmartPress, which I gather is a new product or a new line that you're offering there, um, and how it can benefit. I guess your target market is business to business companies for this, right?
For this one, it's B2B. The process, the marketing process that we set up, really, we were looking more towards the B2B companies, regardless of what B2B industry that they're in. It doesn't make a difference. But to kind of take us through what are the different parts to the puzzle, I think the first thing is when you go to the low cost, the free versions, you only get about 400 words in your press release before they start charging you for anything above and beyond that. Now, in the B2B world, a lot of research that we did, you need about a 650 word press release for B2B companies to have enough text copy to tell the story. And I think that's one of the biggest missing pieces in all of this is not being able to have get enough content out. The press releases, if we would go back, whatever, 30, 40, 50 years ago, was initially designed for investor relations. It was about publicly traded companies announcing their earnings or whatever that was going to be. And as you can imagine, you don't need much room for that. But for some reason, that kind of stuck around in the structure of the standard press release. So, what we want to be able to do is make sure that we have enough words to tell the story. The next thing we need to be able to do is we need to be able to have enough links within the press release so that we're pointing them to LinkedIn, to our website, to a call to action page, putting that all together from that standpoint. The third item, which is important, is the ability to have attachments, right? I don't want just one attachment. I want to be able to put up a sell sheet, let's say a PDF. I want to be able to upload a video or have a YouTube link. And more importantly, I want these links and the attachments that I just mentioned to be able to follow the press release throughout the entire distribution and syndication process, which as you can imagine, does not happen in the low cost and free options. And so that's why I'm saying you get what you pay for. And just because it's low cost doesn't mean that it's going to be effective. You're just wasting your time and your money. Another important element in all of this is the ability to have, is that once the press release is out there, and usually it takes a press release about 7 days to get old and then forget it. It's the shelf life is 7 days. But after that, the question is, does it have any residual value? And the answer is yes. It has SEO value because now you have backlinks coming from high authority websites back to your website, which is, I mean, if you think about it, the residual value will continue to be out there for as long as the press release is on the market or on the web. And what I can tell you is that on average, we have seen after 2 weeks, a press release that we send out for our clients ends up with about 1,000 backlinks back to their website. And when we're distributing, and we're distributing to quality platforms, right? Quality meaning Yahoo Finance, your Benzingas, your Associated Press, ABC, CBS, NBC, the Fox affiliates, the CNNs, that entire network that you have out there, and being able to get it out into the business world, so they have not just the immediate impact for developing awareness, but it also has the ability to have SEO value with all the backlinks, which in turn turns around and raises the ranking of a website. That's kind of the basics of what SmartPress is about. There is something that I find very interesting in the news networks as a whole. Press releases in quality networks, before you can send your first press release out through them, they need to validate that you are a legitimate business. And I am so glad that they implemented that, because otherwise, in the free world, in the low cost world, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, including fraudulent beings out there, put out a press release and there's no check of whether or not it's valid. Whereas in the new world that we're living in terms of the quality networks, let's say your PR newswires, right, your Globe newswires, etc., including the process that we take, we have to validate the company through the networks first. They need to know that it's a real company, it has a real address, has a phone number, it has an email address, it has a website, and there's a contact person with a phone number and an email address. And so once those are all validated, then getting your press release out there has value to the point that it's a trusted source. And that trusted source, it's kind of like Wikipedia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the process at Wikipedia, but you need notable sources on the web about what it is that you're putting into Wikipedia. Well, that same concept applies with the AI engines now. The AI engines, before they can recommend a company in the results that they're sharing, that they're answering to somebody with a question, they need to know that the sources that they're recommending have notable sources, I should say, on the web. So the process that the AI engines are using to be able to make recommendations when somebody's asking a question is the same thing that Wikipedia has been looking for since it started. And this, guys, is how press release marketing really has changed and has become a marketing tool. It has become a strategic business to business marketing tool.
So why should businesses use press releases more often?
Well, like I said, I think the idea is to get above the noise. You need to be able to get your name out there for a lot of reasons. Now, what I generally find with companies is they don't know what to they don't know what to talk about when it comes to press releases. Now, the simplest thing is obviously product and service launches, right? right? Everybody understands it. But you hire somebody, put out a press release, partnerships, collaborations, client success stories, right? You won an award, you have a certification, put out a press release. If you have an event, your webinar, you're going to a conference, write a press release that you're going to the conference. If you put out, I don't know, white papers, right, research papers. You're expanding from one office to 3 offices. These are all examples on why you want to put a press release out there. It doesn't have to just be something that you just did new, right? Just offered a new service or offered a new product. Focus a little bit more on the broader scheme, because really and ideally, companies should be putting out press releases every 2 weeks. I know that sounds like a lot, but you want to be able to keep your brand and your message at a high point in the market space. So make sure that you're always seen. And believe me, this has more value. I mean, in my humble opinion, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to disagree with me. But in my humble opinion, this has more value than running a bunch of ads and spending ad dollars.
Well, yeah. Let me just say that as someone who spent his career getting press releases for about 30 years, and then spent the last 8 years of my career trying to get people to run my press releases, first for the
Yeah.
Engineering Society and then for Lawrence Tech. The real
Yeah.
key to it, I think, is targeting the right journalists, targeting the right publications with your message.
Yeah.
How does your service do that?
That's a good point. Because as we do the distribution, we have a list of editors, journalists, bloggers. We have their email addresses. And one of the steps in our process is to send the press release directly into their inbox. I don't want them waiting passively to find it somewhere on the web in the news system, but I want to be able to drive it right into their inbox so that they know that this exists. Now, the more frequently they end up seeing that brand in their inbox, the more likely they are to get their attention, so that they can take it a step further.
We're kind of running out of time in this segment, so why don't you just give a brief, shameless plug about exactly what you guys charge and that sort of thing, so people get an
Yep.
idea when they want to reach out to you.
So number one, as far as SmartPress is concerned, you can get to it by going to smartpressreleases.com. Number one. Number two, when you get to that page, you'll also see that we have 2 budget options. Number one is a $750 version that people who want to write their own press release, our team will review and make suggestions, and then we'll send it out. Or the other one is a $1,500 version where you just come to us and say, I have a press release. This is what I want to send out. Our team will take care of everything from soup to nuts.